Hey everyone, Dre back again here with YOKOSOOTAKU, and today we are going to be reviewing the fall 2021 anime lineup that's upcoming. So let's jump over to live chart and see what's up. We're going to check out what fall 2021 anime has in store for us coming up here in October. We have Komi Can't Communicate, a comedy school slice of life anime. It says socially anxious high school student Shoko Komi's greatest dream is to make some friends, but everyone at school mistakes her crippling social anxiety for cool reserve. With the whole student body keeping its distance and Komi unable to utter a single word, friendships might be forever beyond her reach. So the first thing that I see is I actually really like what the visuals look like. Yeah, some of the promotional images that they have look really, really good. Kind of a quirky art style. I don't really know how else to explain that. I don't think I've really seen anything exactly like that, but the main character looks interesting and the synopsis sounds interesting enough. We also have the world's finest assassin gets reincarnated in another world as an aristocrat. I don't know where they're going with that one, but it says when a great assassin is reborn in another world, he finds himself the heir to a long line of killers from the shadows. With both his modern day knowledge and experience and the special magic and techniques of his new world, he could very well become the most unstoppable assassin in history. So that's action, fantasy, and magic. I don't know that I'm overly enthused about that one. I don't know a whole lot about the studio that's making it. Or anything really. I don't know, maybe it's interesting. I'll probably give the first episode of that one a go. Why not? Banished from the hero's party, I decided to live a quiet life in the countryside. You aren't one of us. Unable to join the fight on the front, the hero Red is cut and cast out of his adventuring party by the leadership. Man, it was rough going for a while there. Red has no idea how much of a panic his sudden absence has caused. He has been excitedly working towards the opening of his own little herb shop not far away. Do you think I could work here too? Lodging provided, of course. Suddenly, a former companion and princess is in his home. A fun little herb business, a flirty home life with a tomboy princess. This unsatisfied hero's wonderful new life is about to begin. I guess that sounds interesting. It's a slice of life and fantasy and adventure. If that's kind of the stuff that you guys like, it could be pretty good. Once again, I don't really know these studios at all. The graphics look pretty good though. I really like the animation style that they use for this one. Looking at some of the imagery for the mangas, it looks like it's kind of pretty love story based. Main character's main clothes are kind of interesting as far as the female goes, but I don't know, the animation looks interesting. I'd probably check it out. I'd give this one at least a 1 episode run to see what I think about it. Platinum End, a supernatural thriller anime. Kakahashi Mirai lost his parents in an accident and lived in misery with the relatives who took him in. Having lost hope in everything, he jumped off the roof of a building the day of his middle school graduation. But then he met an angel. That doesn't really tell us a whole lot to go off of. It's going to be 24 episodes, it looks like. That one's going to be on October 7th. I don't know. Maybe I would watch that. I'm just not sure if that's something that would grab me or not. Although I have found in the past that some of these synopsises seem kind of lame. And then when I give the first 1 or 2 episodes a go, they turn out to be really awesome. So maybe that's the case with this one. World's End Harem, a ecchi harem sci-fi. The time is near future Tokyo, Japan in 2040. Raito, a young man suffering from an intractable disease, vows to reunite with his childhood friend Arisa and decides to cold sleep to cure her illness. When he wakes up 5 years later, the world was undergoing a major transformation. The MK, otherwise known as the male killer virus, kills 99% of men on the planet, 99.9 in fact. The ground was a super harem with 5 billion women for every 5 men. Only 5 men numbers are resistant to the MK virus. One of them, Raito, is required to mate for the survival of the remaining women and humankind. Harem life waiting for the world after the pandemic. At the same time, Raito is involved in a global conspiracy over numbers. Can he overcome the temptation and save the world? My God. My God. That is one heck of a setup for a harem anime. 5 billion women for every 5 men. There's definitely some fantasy that's being played into on that one. Bree would probably punch me in the face if I watched that anime, but I would be pretty curious to see at least what the first couple episodes are like. If there's some comedy in there, it sounds like it actually could be a pretty comedic time. The Far Away Paladin, an adventure and fantasy anime by Children's Playground Entertainment, coming out in October 2021. In the ruined city of the dead, far from human civilization, lives a single human child named Will. Very plain name. He is raised by 3 undead: Blood, the heroic skeleton warrior, Mary, the ladylike mummy princess, and Gus, the crotchety ghost wizard. God, what an ensemble. The 3 of them teach the boy what they need to know and pour their love into him. It's really bizarre phrasing. One day the boy begins to wonder, who am I? Will discovers the mysteries of the undead hidden in this faraway land. He learns of the love and mercy of good gods, as well as the paranoia and madness of evil gods. And once he learns it all, the boy embarks on a path to becoming a paladin. I actually would be kind of interested to watch that one. It's as weird as that one sounds. I would like to give that one a chance. That one, I think, sounds like it's probably got a couple episodes you have to watch to kind of dig into that bit, but I like the idea of it, and the little snippet of the artwork that they're showing looks really great right now, so that's cool. Meirouchan, a comedy, horror, and supernatural, which is a heck of a mix. A normal girl was living a normal life until she wasn't. One day, she could see everything. What's a girl to do when hideous monsters appear no matter which way she turns? And on top of that, no one else can see them. Obviously, there's only one thing that makes sense: ignore them. Kind of hard to put theory into practice, though, when the ghost knows she's watching. I don't know. I mean, that does sound kind of comical. I don't really know exactly what to say about that, but it sounds interestingly enough. I'll probably watch the first episode of that and do one of my little quick reviews on it. I don't see why not. Shinkano Me, Shuranai Uchi no Kachigumi Jinsai. Action, adventure, comedy, fantasy, harem, and a mouthful of a title. I have these set to the English titles, but I don't know. There must not be an English title for that one. That's another October one that's coming out here. It says, the animal fantasy story centers on Saichi Hiragi, though at the bottom of his school's social pecking order, he and his entire school are upended when everyone in the school is transported into another world. Saichi finds himself alone and approached by a gorilla, who instead of attacking him, proposes to him. At the moment that Saichi thinks that, I guess a gorilla is fine too, they find the fruit of evolution, and when they eat it, their lives are suddenly changed once again. Animal fantasy. I don't know what they mean by animal fantasy. Like, is that a genre that I'm not aware of? The picture that they're showing only has one person that's an animal and everyone else isn't, so I don't know if that's a genre that I'm interested in, but the synopsis sounds kind of interesting, being that they're transported into another world where a gorilla is proposing to a guy. I mean, anime. Hashtag anime. I don't know what else to say on that. Talk to Op Destiny. Action, music, and sci-fi. That's interesting. I actually don't see the music category up on here too often, so this one's a collaboration with Madhouse, and we love Madhouse. Everyone loves Madhouse. I love Madhouse. I'm a huge fan of it. Once again, the artwork looks absolutely spectacular, and I'm just judging it from this one little picture, but being that it's Madhouse, I can guarantee it's going to be awesome. It says, the world completely changed when it was struck by a black meteorite, which produces grotesque monsters called D2 that have overrun the land and its people. D2 very quickly banned all music, which was one thing able to overcome them. But there are people who resist the D2. They are young women who hold the power of music, the music heart. With the guidance of a conductor, these young women use the greatest music scores in human history to defeat the monsters. The anime takes place in America in the year 2047, which has fallen to ruins thanks to the D2. Tact, the conductor, is partnered with a music art named Destiny. Tact yearns for music to be returned to the world, and Destiny wishes to destroy the D2. Their aim is to travel to New York. They kind of had me for a minute, and then they kind of lost me at the end of that one. The idea is interesting. I don't know. It kind of reminds me of, like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this really old game called Rhapsody for the PS1. Kind of seems like that, where there's just like, you know, the power of music. Yeah. Like, I don't know. That game was well enough for what it was, but I don't know. I'm definitely going to check that one out. It's Madhouse. I can't not. I'm going to check it out. We have another comedy romance slice of life. My Senpai is Annoying. Senpais can often be annoying, so I feel that already, just by the title. Igarashi is a hardworking young office lady. Takeda, the senpai above her at work, annoys her constantly, and yet she finds herself growing closer to him. Every day is filled with comic mishaps and romantic moments as Igarashi tries to balance work, life, and love. That sounds incredibly generic, and I get that, like, you can often say that with, like, anime synopsises. Like, pretty much everything sounds generic, and then you, like, start to watch it, and you get, like, those little nuances and stuff that can't be explained too easy. I can't say this one made me really super excited to, like, oh wow, I can't wait till My Senpai is Annoying comes out, but it could be interesting. I'll give that a watch. Blue Period, a drama and school anime by 7 arcs. The studious Yatora leaves a dry life of studying and good manners behind for a new passion, painting. But untethering yourself from all your past expectations is dangerous, as well as thrilling. Yeah, so that synopsis said nothing. I learned about nothing about this other than it's probably about painting, and it's a drama at school. So I'm probably not all that interested in it, to be dead honest. If that's something that you guys are interested in or you guys know more about, let me know. I'd love to hear it. We've got one here that's kind of a little different style than what we normally see. Ranking of Kings, an adventure fantasy anime by Wit Studio. It says here the story centers around Boji, a deaf, powerless prince who cannot even wield a children's sword. Whatever a children's sword is. As the firstborn son, he strives hard and dreams to become the world's greatest king. However, people mutter behind him, behind his back, as a good-for-nothing prince, and no way can he be king. Boji is able to make his first ever friend, Kage, a shadow, a literal shadow on the ground, who somehow understands Boji well. Kage is a survivor of the Kage assassin clan that was all but wiped out. No longer a killer, Kage now makes ends meet by stealing. The story follows Boji's coming of age as he meets various people in his life, starting with his fateful encounter with Kage. I actually really like the idea of that. It actually sounds really interesting, and some of the artwork that I've seen for this anime looks pretty cute. It's a little simplistic and kind of children's styled, but I think that it would be a pretty interesting anime to check out. I actually think this one will be a lot of fun to check out. Sakugan, a mecha and sci-fi anime by Satelight. Comes out on October 7th, and it looks like that they had a world premiere on August 5th already, so I missed that one. I didn't actually get to see it. Listing here, it says, in the distant future, humankind lives shoulder to shoulder in a cramped colony, divided by bedrock. Outside the colony extends a dangerous, undeveloped area known as the Labyrinth. Those who risk their lives to explore the labyrinth and mark undeveloped areas are known as markers. Memefu is a young girl who wants to become a marker, and Kagumber is a man who quit being a marker. This ragtag father and daughter team are about to take on the labyrinth. If there is no path, then dig one. Zesty tagline there, I guess. I don't know, the father-daughter thing might be kind of cool, and I always like animes where they explore labyrinths and stuff like that. That could be interesting. I like the idea of kind of the explorer anime stuff, so I'll definitely be checking that one when it comes out. If you guys have seen the world premiere already, let me know. I'm actually really curious if that's something that would be really good or not. The Vampire Dies in No Time, a comedy supernatural vampire by Madhouse again. Yes, we love Madhouse. In the suburbs of Inakacho, Saitama Prefecture, there is a castle where an immortal vampire is said to live. The vampire hunter Ronald is hired to rescue the children who have not returned from there. But what he finds is Dralk, a wimpy vampire who easily dies and turns into ash, although he is immortal. Nice. And the children were not caught by him, but were only playing in the castle. Ronald destroyed Dralk's castle through a little carelessness. As a result, Dralk, who lost his home, comes to live with Ronald in his office in Shin, Yokohama. Then the two pair up to try to solve various cases, such as the exhibitionist vampire. What? Like, they had me, and then all of a sudden they're like, the exhibitionist vampire. I really like the synopsis of this one. This one sounds fun. I've kind of previously said before, I'm not super into, like, animes that have, like, vampires and stuff in them, but this one sounds like a pretty good comedy that I would like to watch, so I'll definitely have this one on my list of ones to check out. Taisho Atome Fairy Tale. Comedy, historical romance, and slice of life. The setting is in the Taisho era. Tamahiko, a young man who disappointed his parents after losing the use of his right hand in an accident, is forced to move out of his home under the guise of rehabilitation. Resentful of everything in life, he becomes withdrawn and pessimistic. When one day, a woman named Yuzuki knocks on his door, she claims she has been sent there by his father to be his bride. The beginning of a Taisho love story in Japan 100 years ago. So I don't really like the love story things too much, especially when it's like 100% love story based. Probably not going to watch this one. If it gets reviewed, it's going to be reviewed by Bree, highly likely. Shizakura, an action drama sci-fi anime by Sublimation. Kakuru Miwa is an otherwise ordinary high school student, but a strange twist puts him on the front line in a supernatural battle against the menacing Oni. With the help of a fantastically powerful battlesuit known as Yori, Kakuru joins an elite team that fights the monstrous Oni and defends humans from otherworldly threats. The team is assigned to protect Oka Meirouchan, a shrine maiden who is prophesied to save the world, but she must perform a sacred ritual within Shizakura, the horizon that connects the spiritual and physical world that lies somewhere amid the blooming cherry blossoms and the colorful autumn leaves. But in this world, the journey to destiny is hard-fought, winding, and sometimes deadly. It's a 12-episode anime. I might be kind of interested in that. It looks like it might be kind of cool, where they have the supernatural, strange kind of stuff going on with them. And then also regular lives that it looks like they live, too. So that could be kind of cool. The pictures, though, kind of make them look like they're Power Rangers. I don't know. Is this a Power Ranger thing? If you know, let me know. Suki to Laika to Nosferatu. Okay, so that's a vampire name. Everyone should know that. Sci-fi, space, and vampire anime by Arvo Animation. The original novel's story is set in a fictional world 10 years after a long war divided the world into two superpowers. The Union of Xenarita Republics in the east, and the United Kingdom of Arnak in the west. Both of these superpowers now test their ambitions against each other in a space race. In 1960, the Union's premier, Gariv, announces Project Maktat Dream, a prestigious plan to launch a manned mission into their final frontier. To this end, the Union establishes the isolated city of Laika 44, where cosmonaut candidates compete for planned manned missions to space, and scientists develop the technology to make it happen, all in an environment of secrecy. The story centers on Lev Laps, a backup astronaut candidate, and his new companion, the vampire Irina Romanescu. As part of a daring new Operation Nosferatu, God, Project Maktat will use Irina as a test subject for various conditions expected in space, and ultimately as part of a manned mission, with Lev overseeing Irina's training as a cosmonaut. For reasons of their own, both dream of going into space. Vampires in space? I don't know. Vampires in space, I guess. This is the Vampires in Space anime. I am actually probably definitely going to watch at least the first couple episodes of this one because vampires in space, snakes on a plane. I don't know. It's got to be something interesting going on there. Muv-Luv Alternative by Flagship Line and Umeda Company and someone else, I guess. I don't know who. Action, drama, mecha, military, and sci-fi. A story of the bonds between those who fight in a world pushed to its limits. On one of the countless parallel worlds that exist throughout space-time, humanity has fought a decades-long war against the Beta, hostile extraterrestrial invaders using humanoid fighting machines called tactical surface fighters. This is a story of how humanity lives and dies while on the brink of extinction. So, I don't know a whole lot about Muv-Luv. I actually played a PSP game of it, which was kind of like this visual novel thing quite a while ago. It was kind of cool. I don't know that it was really like anything that I was really heavily excited about, but I know a lot of people really like Muv-Luv, so this could be something very exciting to you. To me, I'm kind of on the fence about it. Build Divide number 00000000, Cold Black. Fantasy and game anime by Leiden Films. A city ruled by a king where all superiority is determined by the strength of the TCG Build Divide New Kyoto. Card game? We're back to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay. There has been a rumor in this new Kyoto that says if you win against the king in Build Divide, anything you want will come true. And in order to challenge the king, you must participate in a TCG battle called Rebuild and complete the key. Everyone has a wish they want to come true. Teruto Kurabe, a boy who vows to defeat the king for a certain purpose, is led by a mysterious girl named Sakura Banka, and throws himself into the rebuild battle. Teruto and his friends' battle now begins in the city of New Kyoto, which has been taken over by Build Divide. Yeah, so card game, animes. I know there's a number of you guys that watch us that really like card game animes. I have never been a fan of them. I didn't watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Growing up at all, and I don't really have any kind of attachments to any of that kind of stuff, and honestly, as an adult, I just don't really have interest in it. But if this is something that's super exciting to you, I want to hear about it. You guys tell me about it. It'd be super cool to hear. A Mame, Warrior at the Borderline, Action Mecha by Sunrise Beyond. In the year 2061 AD, Japan has lost its sovereignty. The Japanese people spend their days as oppressed citizens after being divided and ruled by the four major trade factions. The country became the forefront of the world following the deployment of AIM, a humanoid special mobile weapon, by each economic bloc. One day, Amoy Shiba, a boy who loves machines, meets Guy, an autonomous thinking AI. The encounter leads Amoy to call himself into battle to reclaim Japan, piloting the AIM Kenbu that he built himself. It's interesting. I don't really like mechs too much, but that one actually is really interesting to me because it reminds me of a video game I played where this guy kind of ends up connected to this robot, and you kind of go take on a bunch of stuff like that. It had some really interesting dynamics in it between the AI and the character that piloted it, and this is the game that I'm talking about, but I think that something like that could happen in an anime like this, so I might be kind of interested in checking this out. This one might actually get at least a one-episode watch for me, I think. Deep Insanity, The Lost Child, a sci-fi anime by Silverlink. Madness and Unawakening Sleep, Randolph Syndrome. This new illness is slowly but steadily approaching humanity, caused by a huge underground world asylum that appeared in Antarctica. There are strange creatures different from Earth and unknown resources. People bet their lives on the depths of mysterious new world to get huge wealth, organizational plots, or their own ambitions. And here alone, a young man with a wish in his heart is trying to challenge the front line of Asylum. So I'm not gonna lie, this one has me like hooked. Like, I am really interested in this. I really like exploratory animes where they go into like some really crazy thing that's going on, like the illness that's like taking over humanity and stuff, and these crazy places that are found like in Antarctica, I'm super down with that. This one I'm absolutely watching. I'm actually really excited for this one. This one could be good. And once again, you know, just from this picture here, the artwork looks absolutely outstanding. So I'm super stoked. Blade Runner Black Locust! Yes! Yeah, this. I'm so excited for this. This is the one thing that I saw earlier that I was like, all right, this is it. This is the season of anime that's going to get me like excited for anime again, wholeheartedly. We're getting into some Blade Runner. If you guys know anything about me, I'm super love like cyberpunk and kind of like esoteric, like dark things, psychological adventures. Super excited. So I'm just going to read the synopsis here. Los Angeles, 2032, a young woman wakes up with no memories and possessing deadly skills. The only clues to her mystery are a locked data device and a tattoo of a black lotus. Putting together the pieces, she must hunt down the people responsible for her brutal and bloody past to find the truth of her lost identity. Yes! This is the kind of stuff that makes me happy. I'm so excited. I really want to find out what's going to happen on this adventure. I heard that it takes place somewhere between the two movies, so like the really old one, if you guys have seen that, and then the new one that's out now too. It sits somewhere in between it, is my understanding. I'm super excited. We're going to watch this. We're going to talk about it. It's going to be awesome. Megaton Musashi, a mecha and sci-fi anime by OLM. The story takes place after 90% of humanity is wiped out due to an invasion. Survivors live in a shelter where their lives are monitored and memories of the invasion erased. 3 teenagers from the shelter are chosen to pilot 3 machines that combine to form the Musashi robot, made out of materials named Megatronium alloy. The series will balance robot action with school life. So they're really getting deep into these mecha animes in this season, but I'm pretty excited for it. I actually think that Megaton Musashi is going to be pretty cool. I am pretty interested in it. I'm hoping that they have a really good balance between the battle and the real life stuff. It could be really good. It could be exciting. And the artwork that they put out so far too has also been kind of like really enticing into it. So we'll see how this one goes. It could be cool. Tesla Note, an action thriller anime by Gambit. Mission T is a secret operation to save the world from destruction. Trained as a ninja from a young age, Botan Nagoro, raised to become the ultimate spy, teams up with another excellent spy, Kuramura. Their aim is to recover the legacy of the genius inventor Nikola Tesla, the shards of Tesla. Can the two outwit the agents of the other countries who are also pursuing these fragments? Super original spy thriller begins. I like it. I like the idea of it. I actually think this could be kind of cool. And they brought in like some real world stuff into it. I love when they do that too. This one could be pretty fun. I think I'm definitely going to check this one out. This one's also kind of higher up on that list of things that I really want to see coming out here in October. Visual Prison, music, supernatural, and yet another vampire anime. Unge Yuki, a boy who wrestles with deep-seated loneliness and can't fit in. With nobody to call family, he leaves his hometown longing to see an artist he admires perform. He heads for Harajuku, where he encounters a live battle between visual kei artists Eclipse and Los Eden. Overwhelmed by the energetic performance, he is suddenly struck by an intense pain. I don't know. Sounds kind of interesting. I'm not too familiar with A1 Pictures, but it could be interesting. You know, they got that blood moon up there. They got some diverse cast of characters in the little picture. Could be cool. I'll probably check it out. I'm at least gonna give that one. That one's at least like a one watch for me. One episode watch. Rumble Garand, a mecha and sci-fi anime. And I gotta say, I absolutely love this little picture that they have on the side. It looks so bright and vibrant, and they have the, you know, different characters there. You got the little girl on the computer sitting on the box, just chilling out. The world looks like it's in pretty crazy disrepair. This one's by Lurch, and it says the story begins in 2019, just before the change of historical eras for Japan. A rift to another dimension suddenly opens in the skies above, revealing a turnabout, alternate world called Shinkoku Nippon. This parallel version of Japan maintained its militarism and remains stuck in the Showa era. Shinkoku Nippon invades our Japan with its Genmu gas-powered weapons, on which our own modern weapons have no effect, and giant humanoid Garand weapons. The invaders immediately take over our government and all but conquer Japan. As a result, our Japan never ushers in the Reiwa era. A decade later, our Japan has been revamped as Kenkoku Nippon, a puppet state of Shinkoku Nippon. Under harsh censorship, the once thriving manga, anime, idol, and similar subcultures have completely died off. Or so it seemed. So I kind of really like the idea of this one. They put this little synopsis together, you know, where it's this dystopian world, society's kind of collapsed, things are crumbling down, and you have like this, like, you know, group of people who are thought to be like lost in this new society that kind of seem to probably exist still. It sounds really interesting. Like I said, like I'm not the biggest mecha guy, but I actually think this one could be really, really cool, and I'm really, really interested in it just on the visuals and the little synopsis alone. The Night Beyond the Tri-Cornered Window. Drama, mystery, and supernatural. Bookstore employee Mikado always had a tendency to see creepy things. He had lived his life pretending he didn't see these things, but then he has a fateful encounter with an exorcist named Hiyakawa Mikado. Mikado ends up being forced to help out with exorcism duties and has to deal with the embarrassing fact that exorcising these things with Hiyakawa somehow feels really good. While getting dragged into dealing with these cases every day, they run into a cold-blooded murder case. Enjoy a new kind of horror mystery created by total opposites. I don't know. I mean, like, the idea is kind of interesting. I get kind of weird vibes from the picture that they're putting out. Like, I'm not really sure what style they're going for with all this. It seems kind of interesting. Definitely probably just going to check out like the first episode at best. And it's probably going to be low on my radar for what I really want to watch next season. Next one on the list is Selection Project. It's a music anime by Doga Kobu, and I guess it is a mixed media project that they're coming out with. I don't really have a whole lot of details about it. I'm guessing it's just kind of like, you know, what we saw like in K-On! And stuff, but it's like about idols and singing and stuff like that. I'm really not going to research too heavily into it because it's just not up my alley. I don't watch anything like that. I know this is kind of harsh to say, but I loathed K-On! Like, K-On! Like ruined musical style animes for me completely, and I really haven't watched any since then. Genso Gokushi Tengen Raishiniki. Fantasy and historical anime by Geek Toys. The story is set in ancient China during the Three Kingdoms era when various powerful warlords began maneuvering to conquer the known realms. After it was wiped out in unforeseen circumstances, the 6th unit has been reassembled with members from diverse troubled pasts. The leader and seal practitioner Wiki, the spirit purifier Shunkyu Taiken, and the demon slayer Shirori. I sounds kind of interesting. I mean, that synopsis didn't really cover like a whole lot of stuff, but it could be kind of cool to look at something set in ancient China and, you know, powerful warlords and, you know, people fighting and this kind of different ensemble cast fighting stuff. Like, it could be cool. I'll probably check this one out. I'm not super excited for it, but I'm gonna check it out. All right, so the last one we're going to talk about is Deji Meets Girl, a fantasy anime by Liden Films. The story begins one summer when Higa Maze, a listless first-year high school girl who works part-time at the front desk of her family's hotel in Okinawa, meets Suzuki Ichiro, a mysterious youth who came alone from Tokyo as a hotel guest. Since Shinjuki's arrival, Deji things have been happening around Maze, like fish swimming around the room or a giant banya tree smashing through the hotel ceiling. Deja is an Okinawan word that means totally or very. I actually think this one sounds kind of cool. I know that the synopsis didn't give us like a whole lot, but I do like kind of animes where like really like weird, like quirky things are happening. Sometimes kind of spiritual, supernatural, otherworldly, stuff like that. And I think this one fits the bill of it. The little picture that they give us here looks pretty wild. I'm probably going to check it out. This one says it's a short form, so the episodes are going to be like a minute and a half. I'm not really sure exactly where they're going with that, but yeah, that one sounds interesting to me. I think that sounds pretty cool. I hope you guys enjoyed me covering the fall 2021 upcoming animes. And if you guys like this content, remember to give us a thumbs up. It's super, super helpful. And also, feel free to subscribe. Join us and check out more of our anime and otaku content that we have coming out. We'd love to see you back. And I hope everybody's as excited about the new animes as I am. Guys, have a good one. We'll catch you on the next one.